Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Laura, and in today's video we're going to talk about all of the books. It's a big stack on my fall TBR. Lately, I've just been feeling like the monthly TBRs have been a lot for me to try to keep up with. So instead of the monthly TBRs, I'm going to try the season TBRs instead. So I'll do the fall one. Next one you'll see will probably be like right before Christmas time, a winter TBR. I'm just gonna try it. We're trying new things here. I'm so excited for the fall season. You can see I'm wearing a sweatshirt today. It's nice and cool outside. The leaves are starting to fall here in Missouri where I'm from, and it's just fantastic. I'm here for it. So let's get into all the fall books that I plan to read over the next few months. Starting with one of my most anticipated, which is Gone for Gouda by Karina Moss. This is the second book in her Cheese Shop Mystery series, and I loved the first one, Cheddar Off Dead, and I'm very excited to continue on in the series. Hopefully most of the characters that were in book one come back, and I know that this one is set in the fall. Look at the gorgeous cheese on the cover and just like the fall vibes that you get from here. If you don't know, the Cheese Shop Mystery follows the main character Willa. She owns and operates a cheese shop in a small little cozy town. She has made friends in the first book with several of her neighbors. She has some lifelong friends in her two employees that she works with, and of course there's gonna be a murder of some sort. Karina Moss is fantastic at making me hungry for cheese as well, and the recipes in the back of this book, I want to make them this fall. There's a cheesy apple pockets recipe and a jalapeno popper grilled cheese recipe. Those are probably the two recipes that have caught my eye immediately. Oh, and the Bavarian beer cheese as well. So very excited to jump into this one very, very soon. Next we have What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, and I have never read anything from this author before. Heard great things about this book, and I think this is part of a series, and this is a retelling of Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher. I really liked in Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles the chapter that was also a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher. I liked the way he did that a lot, so I am here for the Poe retellings. I'm super excited to see what I think about this one, and I like that it's a nice short little novella to kind of break up some of the bigger books that I have on this list. Speaking of which, the next book is The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna, and this is quite a bit thicker of a book. It's over 400 pages. I got this from a giveaway a couple years ago and just have never gotten to it. I don't know if it's set in the fall, but to me the cover gives off very fall vibes. I know it's about like the Great Depression. It takes place, I think, in Texas, and we just got back from a family vacation about a month ago to Oklahoma and Texas. I have heard that I'm gonna need my tissues for this. My mom read it and she didn't really love it, but I'm totally excited to try this. It's been a long time since I've read a Kristen Hanna book. Even if this doesn't really necessarily give you fall vibes, it just feels like a very good time for me to pick it up. Next one is one of my favorite authors, Kwame Alexander. This is a book called Solo. He actually co-wrote this with Mary Rand Hess. You can't see because my dog, when he was a puppy, got a hold of this one, and so the pages are pretty much mangled or on all the edges, but you can still read all of the words. Kwame Alexander wrote the series The Crossover, which I absolutely loved, and this is told in the same like free verse style. I just feel like he brings so much emotion and depth to the characters. Something about this format and just his writing that I absolutely connect with and love. And something that I think is really cool too is that I know somebody that's listed in his acknowledgements, Tanisha Davis. She is another YouTuber. She has a channel called Sitting in a Tree and also a channel called Fun and Budget with Tanisha Davis. And I met her through my other YouTube channel. It's called Show Me an Adventure. I don't talk about it much because it has nothing to do with books. It's more like Missouri based and travel based type of content. We do date night vlogs and things like that with my husband over there. All of that to say that through that channel I met Tanisha Davis, who is friends with Kwame Alexander. That's how I heard about this author first, and she and Kwame have been on a trip to Africa with some of their other friends. Part of the setting in this book, it takes place in Africa. I just feel like there's something about having that like kind of third-party connection to the author that makes his books even more meaningful to me. But regardless of that personal connection, he's a fantastic author. I just think it's really cool that I've seen him like in her videos, and I just think he's a great author, a great person, and so I'm super excited to read Solo. The next one I think is my highest anticipated book for the season, and that is Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I have put this on my TBR a few times before, and I don't know why I'm hesitant to pick this up because I absolutely love this author. I've loved, given like at least a 4-star or higher rating to all of the Grady Hendrix books, short stories, novellas that I've read before. But for some reason, I just keep like holding on to this. It's like I want to savor it and wait for the absolute right time, and I feel like that time has come. What better time to read a horror book about vampires by probably my favorite horror author for sure, if not my favorite author of all genres, than right now. So I hope that I love this book and it's worth the wait. This next one looks really cool on the cover. This is So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison. I have never read anything from this author before, but I've heard really great things about her in general. This was an Aardvark book club pick. This is my first time ever purchasing anything or signing up for Aardvark, and I signed up through Gwen Kinsinger here on BookTube's channel. So I got this book for $4 using her discount code, and I'm super excited about it because not only was this hardcover book only $4, but this is a signed copy. I know that these sold out like very, very quickly. I feel super fortunate that I actually was able to get one that was signed by her. But hopefully I really enjoy this book. I don't honestly know much about it other than the fact that I absolutely loved the cover. I know it's about vampires in some way, shape, or form, and I'm just wanting to get into reading more horror authors because I've read from Grady Hendrix and I've read Stephen King, several books of both of theirs. I've read Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I've read Murder Road by Simone St. James. That's kind of like I think both of those are kind of a blend of like horror thriller genre, as well as Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. So I've read several that kind of like blend, not very many like true horror books, and I hope that this is going to lean a lot more into the horror because that's what I'm just in that mood for it. Super excited. This was like the deal of a lifetime, I think. The next book that I have is The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. I believe this is a translated novel. Yes, translated from Japanese language by Philip Gabriel. So I've never read anything by this author before. I know this is one of my friend Sonia from Sonia with an I's favorite books, the year that it came out, or the year that she read it at least. I know that this has like some magical realism to it with the cat, and I think he has a relationship with a man, and I think that it's sad at some point. You sold me with the beautiful fall cover and the cat. That's all I need to know, and I think they travel, I guess. The next one I have is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I have been wanting to read from this author again for quite some time, and I just haven't picked one up from her yet. I think this has something to do with like a love story with a ghost or a dead person or something. I don't know. I think it's funny because I've always said that I'm not really much of a romance reader, and yet I find myself reading a lot of romance books for somebody who's not a romance reader. I don't know. Every once in a while I just get in the mood for a good, sweet little romance, or even like a gut-wrenching kind of romance like Before I Let Go. I don't know. Sometimes I just get in the mood for a love story. Next one I have is Autumn by Allie Smith. This one I know I heard about first, at least from Kat's Field Notes here on BookTube. She has recommended this book a couple of times, and so I'm super excited for it. I think this is about like a relationship between a younger woman and then an older man. Relationship more as in like a friendship, I think, than like a love story. I don't know. I can't remember much about the plot, to be honest with you. I just remember that when Kat was talking about this, it sounded like a book that I would also probably enjoy, but obviously set in the fall. The next one I have is Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellers. I have a feeling this might be more of like your unconventional type of love story, maybe a little bit on the weird side, which I really enjoy. Last that I have currently with me in the physical form is the September House by Carissa Orlando. Obviously, I want to read this one in the month of September. Who doesn't? I know this is on like several people's fall TBRs. Over on Instagram, I have a Missouri Book Girls like group chat, and this book was recently talked about. I think some people in that group are reading this book as well right now, and somebody told me that this is almost like a campy type of thriller, which the reason I like Grady Hendrix so much is because it's that campy horror, and I really enjoy that. A woman moves into a house, and it's such a beautiful home that she's willing to overlook some very creepy, disturbing things that happen in that home. Something about that just sounds right up my alley, so hopefully I will enjoy this one, and hopefully I'll be able to read it in September. I have 2 more books that I don't have in physical form with me right now because they are on hold at the library. One of them is Vanishing Edge by Claire Kells. The reason that I want to read this one is, one, I just love outdoorsy things in general in the fall. I love to go hiking. My husband and I plan to go backpacking for our first time ever. We just recently started getting all of our backpacking gear, and we're going to try it because we both love hiking and we love tent camping. So we thought, why not try to combine the two and see if that might be a new hobby unlocked for us. But my husband and I have a fall wedding anniversary, and we're taking a trip for that to Sequoia National Park in California. We're also going to go to Yosemite and Kings Canyon National Parks as well. Fun fact about me is that I want to see all of the, I think, 63 national parks. Here on top of my bookshelf, I keep this pretty little board that my husband bought for me last year that has a spot where you can put like a little tree in all of the national parks that you have visited. And so far I have visited, I think, 16 of them. So we'll be adding 3 more to that list. All of that to say, Vanishing Edge takes place in Sequoia National Park. So that's the reason that I wanted to read this. And I think that this is a part of a series that each book has a different national park as its setting. I think the premise of The Vanishing Edge is something like a murder mystery where they're camping in the national park and somebody ends up missing or dead or something. I kind of want to wait and save this one and like take that with me to California, and so that's probably what I'll do with that one. The last one that I have on my fall TBR is Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesar, I think is how you say that author's name. The biggest thing that sold me on this one is that it's set in Kettle Springs, Missouri. I think Kettle Springs is a fictitious town, but regardless, they had me sold at the Missouri setting. Just like with Vanishing Edge being a national park setting, I'm also a big sucker for books that have a Missouri setting or a Missouri connection of some sort. I think it's kind of like a teenage slasher type of horror, something to do with a corn maze or a cornfield, which totally gives the fall vibes, but with that horror edge to it, which I'm super excited for. That is going to be it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed this, maybe found a couple books that you want to add to your fall TBR. Tell me down in the comments if you read any of these and loved them, or maybe tell me what is a book that you are really looking forward to reading this fall down in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.